It's totally okay to change your opinion on something. It doesn't make you a hypocrite. It shows growth. People will hold your opinions you had earlier in life against you, and if you change your mind, you are a hypocrite. Holding something against someone that they believed in 5, 10, 20 years ago is ridiculous. We should be encouraging growth and healthy change in people. If you were a shitty person and you decide you want to turn your life around or change your mind, this should be celebrated, not condemned. Obviously, this doesn't apply to everything, but most things. i.e., if you're a murderer, I feel that you can change your lifestyle and the way you think, but you must always be held accountable for what you have done. Edit. This blew up a lot more than I expected it to. For context, I have just seen a lot of people in my hometown changing their opinions about the current state of the world with COVID-19, and many people I know are getting berated for what they said about the pandemic before it came to the US and changing their mind now that they are being affected by it to a greater degree. I live in the South, where the term hypocrite is thrown around pretty regularly. Edit 2. Fucking hell, I understand a ton of you agree with me and a lot of you don't think this is an unpopular opinion. I was posting this not in context of Reddit's echo chamber of opinions, but based on the opinions of people outside our corner of the internet who I've been dealing with on social media for the past 2 weeks. People will never forget and hold shit against you until the day you die. As my man Daliner once said, sometimes a hypocrite is nothing more than a man in the process of changing. That is the most popular unpopular opinion that I saw today. This is fine for friends and neighbors, but I have a huge problem with this in politicians. If they aren't willing to explain how or why they changed their mind, or talk about why they were wrong, then they're probably just changing their position out of political convenience. I think the last line really sums up how I believe it should be done. You can change your lifestyle and the way you think, but you must always be held accountable for what you have done. You can change all you want, but what you said/did will always be on your name. I agree. In politics, it's common to attack a candidate by pointing out their position changed on an issue. They always try to say they didn't change. Just once I'd like to see someone own it. Like, yes, I was against gay marriage, but after thinking more about it, I now support gay marriage. I would respect the candidate a lot more for that. It is mature, but most people on Reddit will just downvote you and call you hypocrite, or say that you can't stand behind your own words of you change opinion midways. I wish I could on Reddit without being mass downvoted. Yes. I was very conservative before this pandemic, but after looking at the way the US has handled it and after spending lots of time reading articles and social media, I've come to think that leftist ideologies aren't as bad as how the right puts them. And I've started listening to lectures by some professors about the same too. The worst thing is that I'm being thrown shade by both sides, being called a snowflake on the right and hypocrite on the left. Now, if we could just convince the leaders of the world that it's okay to do this too. It depends on why someone is changing their mind. If it's a matter of analyzing facts, hearing new opinions, and reaching new conclusions, then fine. That's growth. But if it's a politician spouting new talking points for votes, or showcasing double standards purely to stick it to their opposition, then there's nothing noble or praiseworthy about it. I think the problem is that most people don't change their opinions because of a convincing argument or some type of revelation, but rather for convenience, to fit in with the popular narrative despite their true feelings on the subject. Also, I don't think people changing their opinion on something is hypocritical. It's that most people won't admit to being wrong/holding a certain view after the fact is what makes them hypocritical, or that they compare others to different standards, generally speaking, than they do of themselves. But it's not okay to repost this every single day, i.e. why it's so stupid that tweets from 5+ years ago can bite a celebrity in the ass and tank their career. Changing your opinion doesn't make you a hypocrite. Having one opinion and doing the opposite to that opinion makes you a hypocrite. Maybe gays should be stoned. I'm growing. Yeah, you're actually right, it's just that they prefer to stay with that win or thinking they have power. Being hypocritical is more when you apply a standard to someone else that you do not apply to yourself. This is very common in partisan politics when one side is mad at the other for doing something corrupt, but then would look away when someone on their own side does the same thing. Life is all about changing your opinions on topics as you get new information. Learn and grow. I disagree. r/popular opinions. Re all the people who voted Tory in December who are now raging at Cummings and Johnson. I disagree. Edit. I agree. Not an unpopular opinion. r/lost redditors. Agreed. I'm not married to any idea. Things are changing so rapidly in our world that anyone who has exactly the same beliefs and views they had 10 years ago is probably a closed-minded idiot. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change, Albert Einstein. Depends on why you change your opinion. Is it because it's popular or because you actually had a change of heart/were presented with new information? This is not unpopular. What even is the popular universal opinions here? Popular opinion. Not unpopular. Definitely. I think unlearning behaviors and attitudes from when you were younger is one of the hardest but most rewarding things to do as you get older. You start to really see your own bias and how your surroundings impacted you and your perspective growing up. And there are just so many amazing things in the world: food, style, music, movies, etc. I do my best to do everything now and not let my opinions on things be so firm that it disables me from experiencing everything life has to offer. I 100% agree with the op, and I hope he eventually comes to a point of moral growth to realize that this opinion is absolute bullshit and repents of it. And I'll be there to support him, or not, as the case may be. It would appear you have a more unpopular opinion from my similar yet less artfully stated opinion from 11 days ago. https://www. reddit.com/r/unpopular opinion/comment/g-j9ql5/u_should_allow_good_comment/utm_medium=android_app and utm_source=share. So, technically I win. Used to think marijuana was for druggies and trashy people. I wouldn't be friends with anyone who smokes weed or said they wanted to try. Naturally, as I grew older I did my own research and found that weed isn't that at all. Now I'm the biggest pothead around. It's a good thing. It shows you are open to change. It shows you'd considered the alternative. Unless you are a politician, because then it's flop-flopping and you lose all credibility. Go figure. Man, what an unpopular opinion. This is not unpopular. How to get to the top of unpopular opinions, say an uncontroversial and popular opinion. I personally thinks it's weirder when someone's views are the same for their whole life. It means you've been brainwashed and aren't an independent thinker. What people need to realize is, hypocrisy is when you actively and strongly feel one opinion while doing the same thing you feel strongly on. For example, say you hate any chicken products. You're actively shaming people for eating chicken products. You tell them how they're disgusting and awful people. Then you go home and make yourself a lovely tray of chicken nuggets. Hypocrisy isn't the change in views, it's shaming others for doing something you claim to be against but then doing the same thing. Hypocrisy is just one of those words that unfortunately have been so thrown around that no one looks at the true meaning: toxic, sexual assault, abuse, prejudice, etc.